What's going on, y'all? Ty here. I want to put you at ease because anytime you hear bankruptcy, of course, it's negative, right? You're thinking, hey, they're insolvent. You don't have any money to pay your bills. It's over. But I'm here to calm your nerves. I'm here to put you at ease to say, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, that bankruptcy is common when it comes to corporations. Now, for an individual, that's something completely separate, completely different beast. I'm going to have a follow-up video explaining the importance of incorporating your business to separate your personal assets. That way, if bankruptcy is a step that you have to take, your personal assets are protected. But in this case, Twitter, Elon Musk said that there is a possibility they haven't filed bankruptcy, but there's a possibility that they haven't filed bankruptcy. Now, 9 times out of 10, or I'm willing to bet that it's going to be Chapter 11 and not Chapter 7. I'm going to explain the difference here to put you at ease, to let you know that this is possibly a good thing for Twitter. Now, we already know that Jack Dorsey, the CEO, the co-founder of Twitter, already came out and admitted that he grew the company too fast, which brings them to a situation here where 6 out of the 8 years since going public, they've been in a negative. So they've only been profitable 2 years. So what is Chapter 11 bankruptcy? Chapter 11 bankruptcy is a filing that Twitter or any company is going to place with a bankruptcy court in the state that they're headquartered. That's automatically going to create an estate through the bankruptcy court, and that's going to create a better relationship between the stakeholders and the creditors. And the creditors, of course, it can be your banks and be your private investors. What this is going to do is this is going to allow any company that's filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy to come up with a restructured plan that's going to allow them to restructure their debt. That's going to entail them getting out of any leases or contracts that may be burdensome to the company, any expensive contracts, any contracts that are worthless in a sense. And when I say worthless, they're not generating any revenue for the company. Now, unfortunately, this is going to contain some layoffs and furloughs, and you've seen that in any of the previous bankruptcy cases. And parts of operations can be modified and eliminated. I'm going to give you an example where we're going to use United. Once the filing is put in place, this is going to make the company that's filing for bankruptcy a debtor in possession. That's going to allow them to keep their current assets, and it's going to pause any of the creditors coming to collect those assets from them. This is a benefit to them because they're allowed and they qualify for debtor in possession financing. What that does is they put this package together, and of course they have to show their finance statements. They have to show their assets. They have to show their liabilities, all of their expenses. They have to put this into a package, and they have to present this to the new creditors. So this is going to allow them to put a package in place to pursue new financing. And in certain cases, this financing can come with better terms. The financing is specifically to get them out of bankruptcy. When they do find new financing, the new lenders are going to take priority on their assets, equities, and other claims. So the creditors that have been there, the investors have been there, they have to take a back seat because the new lenders are going to take priority over any liquidations, any assets of that company. Now, I know you're asking, why would creditors do this? We'll get further into it, and you'll see why creditors would want to do this. Another thing that filing this Chapter 11 bankruptcy, it's going to be called a stay. A stay is going to be put in place. This is going to give this company extra time. Now, right off the bat, you have an exclusivity period. It's going to give you 120 days to file another motion to move forward with this plan. So for 4 months, you essentially don't have to do anything. But of course, you want to raise new capital. That capital is going to get you in a place where you can pay your creditors, where you can get operations going smoothly. But while this stay is in place, and the reason why we say this buys you time is because these creditors immediately cease collection procedures. So they can no longer foreclose on any properties. If you have any vehicles in your business name, they can no longer repossess those vehicles, or any other liens that they may have with bank accounts if they're garnishing wages or whatnot out of the bank account. They have to cease all of those operations. Now, as you can see with the reorganization plan, of course, with the estate, the bankruptcy courts, it has to go through a process. It has to meet a few key conditions in order for it to pass, right? It's not like one of those things where a company can just go file Chapter 11 bankruptcy with no plan in place. A plan has to be in place for this to occur. Now, 5 key conditions that the courts or that prior creditors will vote on and allow this to pass. Now, creditors can approve this. They can approve or decline a plan. Think about it. Creditors want to be paid their funds. Is it in the best interest for the creditors to say, hey, forget about this plan. I want my money back now. And they liquidate the company, which is Chapter 7. You would cease all operations and maybe get 30 cents on a dollar, 40 cents on a dollar. Or us creditors coming together and we're voting like, hey, this plan seems feasible. We'll give you X amount of time to give us back what we're owed. So creditors have a process where they can approve or decline a plan that the company puts in place. Feasibility. Now, the company must prove that these future funds that are raised are going to cover expenses. If the company cannot find financing, more than likely, the creditor is going to push you towards Chapter 7. It has to be fair and equitable. Now, of course, creditors must be paid the value of the collateral in this plan. They want their money back, rightfully so. The debtor is unable to retain any equity interest until obligations are paid in full. So anything that's being sold, that money is going to flow to the creditors, then to the company thereafter. It must be in good faith. So under this plan, and rightfully so, the management and the company must follow the law. They can't, commit fraud. They have to operate in the best interest of the company and its creditors. With this new plan, they're at least entitled to the minimum of what they would have received if a Chapter 7 bankruptcy was pursued. With that Chapter 7 bankruptcy, going back to it, if you liquidate the assets and operations cease, whatever the company receives with liquidating their assets trickles down to the creditors first, and then everybody else thereafter. So you can see the slight difference between Chapter 7 and Chapter 11. Elon Musk took over October 28th. There were a lot of companies that were unsure about the direction of Twitter. So you had 11 companies right off the bat. This is the diminishing demand that happens when it comes to Chapter 11, a low revenue and diminishing demand to pay those creditors. This is just a small fraction, but these are big companies with big marketing budgets. And you can only imagine the blow to the bottom line or top line that Twitter felt by them pulling their marketing budget from their platform. 90% of sales comes from advertising for Twitter. So this is huge for them. Of course, Elon Musk, you see, he's trying to implement that $8 a month for a verified check. I think I like the idea of what's going on because it helps us, or it may not help us determine who's valid and who's not. But anybody, a bot can still pay the $8 and get a blue check. But I like the idea where I guess he thought it was going. And once they fine tune it, I'm pretty sure it's going to work. But like I said, I'm putting you at ease because this can be a good thing for Twitter. If they're able to file that Chapter 11 bankruptcy, get that filing in order, they're able to retain their assets, they're able to raise a new seed or a new round of funding to be able to move forward. I want to take you through an example with United Airlines to show you why Chapter 11 bankruptcy is good in certain cases. The reason why I want to take you through United Airlines is because this was the longest in aviation and airlines that a company has been in bankruptcy. And it's gone on for about 4 years. They entered bankruptcy, or they filed for bankruptcy in 2002. Now, at this time, they were dealing with 4 years of losses. Remember, this is a year coming off of 9/11. They had 2 years of heavy losses. At the time that they filed bankruptcy, they were unable to pay off a debt that was due of $1 billion, and it was due the upcoming week. That last 2 years, they lost $4 billion. The economy was also just coming off of the tech bubble, and then, like I said, 9/11. They did file to get funding from the federal government. The Air Transportation Stabilization Board that was put into place after 9/11 to come in and bail out certain airlines, but they rejected that $2 billion loan because they felt that the plan, remember, you have to vote on a plan, that plan was going to fall onto us taxpayers. So this puts them in a situation where they had to file bankruptcy. Once they got that rejection, they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They came up with an organization plan, and with that organization plan, remember, they could modify operations. So they reduced their fleet from 557 aircrafts down to 460. They had to furlough their staff. By the time they came out of bankruptcy, they reduced their workforce by 30%. They reduced their operating costs by 20% because in return, modifying their operations, they closed their Miami hub. They increased international flights. They started charging for in-flight dining. It used to be free. But with that, they were actually able to increase their on-time arrivals. Now, in 2005, you have that debtor in possession financing that you qualify for. In 2005, JP Morgan and Citigroup financed this package, a $3 billion package. So this allowed them to continue on with operations and get out of bankruptcy, because that next year, 2006, they were able to come out of bankruptcy. They're now the third largest airline. 2013, they merged with Continental Airlines. So don't look at Chapter 11 as a bad thing. Just look at Chapter 11 as saying, hey, you know what? Let's take a step back. Let's restructure this. Let's raise more funds or additional funds to get us further. The main thing here is I wanted to just bring that to your attention. Don't be alarmed. Part of Twitter's changes, modifications to their operations, they've already, since Elon Musk has come in October 28th, he's already laid off 50% of the workforce. Like he said, and like we said, he wants to implement that charging the $8 a month. So let's see where this goes. If they do have to file that Chapter 11 bankruptcy, don't be alarmed. It's just restructuring the debt. But it's also going to be interesting to see who's going to want to back this package in regards to financing. Who's going to want to be the new investors, the new creditors to step up. Let me know what you think. Thank you for your time. Definitely like and subscribe if you like some of the information that I'm putting out. This leads to the importance, and I'm going to put out another video, stay tuned, on why you should incorporate your business operations and separate yourself from the business. Because there's a complete and huge difference between a sole proprietor filing bankruptcy versus a company filing bankruptcy. I'm going to follow up with a video and explain the difference and the importance of why you should be incorporated. Thank you for your time. Like I said, my name is Ty. Peace.